I did not plan on building a JL. In fact, this year we were going to run our JK with Vince driving and me co-driving. Our contact at Curry approached us and asked what it would take to be the title sponsor for our JK for 2019. And after some talking, somehow the conversation switched over to a JL. And Curry offered to give us full support if we built a JL.
There was no intention of a JL?
There was absolutely no intention.
Suggested it to you.
I thought they were cool cars, but I did not want to build one. Not yet anyways. So being a new platform, the aftermarket support hasn't caught up yet, right? And, I mean, so the biggest challenge, I guess, or the biggest obstacle was getting the parts needed on the car just so we can load it on a trailer. And that literally happened the day we left. So the vehicle wasn't ready to go. The vehicle wasn't off jack stands until the day we left.
Wow.
So that was probably the biggest obstacle.
When was the first year that you did an actual vehicle race?
So we started 2 years ago, and King of the Hammers was supposed to be our first race. But pretty much the same as this car, we were waiting on parts to finish the car, and we weren't able to finish it on time. So we came down here without a car, but what year was that? I can't even think now.
2017.
Yeah, 2017 was the first year for the current BosRacing.
Okay. What does it take to build one of these? How hard is it? Like, there's a lot of coordination. So.
Yeah, so to build one of these cars, obviously it takes a strong team. If I want to build this car by myself, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. You got to start with a strong team. Once you have a strong team behind you, anything's possible, right? I mean, without my team, I wouldn't be here today.
How many people did you bring out here?
We brought out 5, but we have a 6th coming with our core team of the two 4600 cars. We also have 8 members of BosRacing that are running the 4800 car and the UTV at this race.
Can you go through a little bit of like what each person's job is here on the team?
So normally we have more of our team here, so everybody has a defined role. But because we're here with the skeleton team, we're kind of all just doing a little bit of everything. We've got a driver, co-driver for both 4600 cars, acting as everything, right? I mean, we're more than just here to drive. We're working on the cars, we're prepping the cars. So normally we do have defined roles. At this event, we're all doing what we can to get both cars ready.
How many other JLs are out here right now?
This is the only JL that's running in this race. There is, however, a JT, which was announced 3 weeks ago, being built right now as we speak by Savvy Off-Road, one of our major sponsors on this car. But initially, this would have been the only new Jeep platform that was going to be out here.
So how does that feel knowing that you have the newest Jeep? You're the only one that's about to bang it up and one of like the hardest one-day off-road races?
Yeah, so obviously there's some cool factor in that, but at the same time, you know, it does add to the stress a little. Obviously, I want to do good for my sponsors. I want to show that their parts are truly the best in the industry. And, you know, we had a lot of offers from manufacturers, and we only went with what we felt was the best. And so the pressure is on me to prove that their parts can withstand abuse, right? And I'm pretty confident it will. The rest is going to be up to me and my driving, right?
How did you go about getting this beautiful display of sponsors that you have up here?
So I had a little bit of help from Jeep. Jeep came out with probably the only new platform to have aftermarket parts made for it before the vehicle was even released. Prior to the JL, the JK is the #1 platform for aftermarket retail, right, side of the industry, and with how hot the JK was, the aftermarket was prepared for the JL. They all wanted to be the first ones to have parts available. And so it was really easy, or easier, to get parts for this than it was for, say, the JK. But the problem was, because it's such a new platform, not everyone was ready, right? There's a lot of parts available in the aftermarket for your street Jeep or your recreational wheeler. But for something that's going to be raced out at King of the Hammers, it's just not available. And so that part of it was challenging. We had to fab up a lot of our parts. But biggest help to us in getting sponsors was the fact that it was such a new platform, and everyone wanted to have their part on our Jeep here at this race. So I have seen the course map, and the whole second lap is different. The first lap is very similar, except running the opposite direction. Last year they came down resolution and backdoor. This year we're going the opposite direction. Rather than make us go up backdoor, we're bypassing that section. The rock section, however, is a little different. It's more miles, it's a longer course, but I think those that do finish will finish in equal to, or if not better, times than last year. With bypass, it works out to about 155.
So I see there's a welder over here off camera, and you guys were welding a little bit the other day. So you're doing like major fabrication.
Major fabrication, because what we thought would work ended up not working, and so we had to kind of change up our plans. We had to modify what we thought would work on the rear shocks. We had to modify, and we got it all together. It's actually looking pretty good. In fact, I think what we ended up with is probably better than what I had originally planned, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
That's good. What have you been doing today for it? Because you said you can't take it to tech yet.
So,
There's still stuff you need to
yeah, so we are really close to being ready for tech. There's a couple of last-minute items that need to get completed before we can, but when we pulled it off the trailer, we still had a ton of really big components to complete. The Jeep had no rear shocks, no rear bumps. It had none of the safety other than the roll cage, so we had no harnesses, no window nets, and a lot of the key components that we need to run the car wasn't done.
Right.
And so from the moment we arrived till a half hour ago, we were working on this. We finally got it on all four. We finally got to drive around a little bit and make sure everything worked. And when we brought it back under the tent, we started hitting all of the required equipment, the harnesses, the nets, window nets, and so we're getting close. Without my family's help and support, I wouldn't be here. I got to thank my wife and kids for allowing me to do what I love doing. I took away the garage and made my wife park outside, and she wasn't too happy about that, but without their support, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. My team, BosRacing, every member of our team stepped up big and took time out of their day to come and help me get this thing ready. They're family. Every member of BosRacing is family, and I love them just as much as I love my family. Without their help and support, I wouldn't be here. Vince Bloss is my brother from another mother that I never knew I had, but every step of the way, he's had my back, and love him to death, and just got to say thank you to Vince. Ryan and Whitney. Ryan's my co-driver. He's like a son. Whitney's our team manager. She's like a daughter, but they're married, so they can't both be son and daughter. So Ryan is now my son-in-law, and Whitney, who I call Howley Girl, is my daughter. Love the two of them just like my real family, right? They support me 100% on everything I do. Huge help, and I couldn't do any of this without them. Traffic Tim. Traffic Tim is Vince's father-in-law. He has been like the backbone that won't break. He does everything he can, and he does everything we ask. And he's an old guy like me, but he never quits. And so, Traffic Tim, love that guy too. Love that guy to death. Andrew is Vince's co-driver this year, but Andrew is also the fabricator, welder that helped me build the cage that's on this Jeep. He bend over backwards to do stuff for me. Nicest guy in the world. He doesn't ever want anything in return. I keep trying to give him stuff. He doesn't want it, but I got some stuff for him.
Can you speak to the fact that right now we're doing an interview, but the car is still being worked on? Like, that's how much in progress it is right now.
Yes,
Like, you
so
guys are full tilt, don't even have time to stop.
we do not have time to stop. We've got some work left to finish before we can get this thing through tech, and it's just, I think one thing about racing, you're never done, right? So we're not going to be done tonight. We're not going to be done at the end of this week, but we'll have it ready. We'll have it through tech, and we'll be racing it.
Call JT when you're done.
And I just got told that I got to call JT, who's the race director, to figure out what we're going to do about tech. I'm supposed to be qualifying tomorrow morning, and it's going to be tough getting it ready, but we're going to try.